All right, hello everybody. Welcome. We're going to do a quick video today that I want to go over two things. One, we want to talk about study skills, how we can get better at studying for things. And number two, I want to go over some of the new stuff that we're doing with the atoms. So number one, quickly cover with study skills. Because as we're going through 7th and 8th grade, a big thing that we're trying to do is become better students. Not just learn the material in front of us, but become a student that gets better at how we're learning, at what kind of student we are. So one thing's for students and parents alike. What I have up in front of us, this is a study guide from our last test. So I want to think, if you came home and you're wondering as a parent, how can you help the kids or students? How can you help yourselves? Don't just look at this sheet. Maybe give this to mom or dad and have them ask you questions like when we're talking about density right here. Have them ask you to explain to them, how do I find density? Okay, what if I have density and volume? How do I find mass? Explain that. See if you can do that orally, okay? Another thing that you can do, you can certainly do on your own, is like we filled this out here with the physical properties. What you can do even on your own is take your hand and cover it up, okay? Cover up the answers and see if you can answer it correctly again. If you have a partner, a friend, a parent, whoever, give them the paper. Have them ask you the questions, like a material's ability to allow heat or electricity to flow through it. What is that? Can you tell them? If you're having trouble with that, you need a little bit more work on it. Okay, don't just look at the paper and go, oh yeah, that looks familiar, I know it. You need to be putting yourself in a situation. Same as like if you're playing a sport, you want to practice how you play. Here, we want to practice how you're going to be taking the test. Okay, so be questioned. All right, part dos. We're going to be talking about what we're learning about now, atoms and the periodic table of elements, okay? We are learning all the different parts of the atom, what's in the nucleus, what has a positive charge, what has a negative charge. And you're learning right now about the table of elements. And if you look at any of these, you should be able to right away figure out how many protons does it have? How many electrons does it have? And then you should be able to figure out pretty quickly how many neutrons does it have. And we're going to take a look at how we're going to do that. Everybody should have this study sheet and you should be using it. And we just looked through the atomic number. That's really simple. To figure out the protons, it's whatever the atomic number is. If the number is 8, how many protons do we have? We have 8, okay? And in a stable element, that's also going to be the same number that we're going to have from electrons. We look back at our sheet here, and it's going to tell me, hey, if I want to find the atomic mass, or I want to find the neutrons, I'm going to find the atomic mass, and I'm going to subtract the number of proteins. But what do we do first? That's right. We're not going to have part of a neutron. We're going to have whole neutrons. So the atomic mass, you're going to round it. Either up, your number is 5 or above, you're going to round it up, or you're going to round it down. So if you have a number, and let's take a look, like 10.81 for boron, you are going to round it up to 11. You're going to subtract 5 from that. That's going to tell us how many neutrons. You want to be practicing this. If we don't have it right now, you want to work on it. Parents, one of the things that I would say that you could do to help out is ask your kids, have them explain to you, how do I find the number of protons? How do you find the number of neutrons? How do you find the electrons? What has a positive charge? Protons. What has a neutral charge? Neutrons. What has a negative charge? Electrons. Okay? Ask them to verbalize these answers to you. If they can do that, they got it. All right, if you have this information, you are doing well. If you can already do it, you're doing great. Remember, we are studying the scientists. We are creating our animation. We're really going to be going full steam ahead on that next week and getting more into the periodic table of elements. Until then, if you've got everything done and you did the vocab test survey, have a great weekend. Relax. And I'll see you next week. Let's dress up. Halloween week.